Hey guys, welcome back to Election Center, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 election based on current trends. So sort of where these states are headed, and what I think the result will be purely just looking at the trends in these states. It's not including other stuff going on in the campaign. So let's just jump right in here with an interesting state, Texas. So what we saw in 2016, Texas voted for Donald Trump, the Republican, over Hillary Clinton, the Democrat, by a margin of just 9 points. Whereas in 2012, we saw that go to Mitt Romney, the Republican, by some 16 percentage points. And in 2008, that voted for John McCain by about 12 percentage points, despite McCain being one of the weaker Republican candidates of our time. So, based on his current trajectory, we are probably going to see this state narrowly go blue in 2020. Of course, if the Trump campaign does a good job fending off that state, it seems like we're maybe going to see that state go red. But just taking a look at the trends, kicking off with a really interesting state here, Texas, that could be going blue. We're going to see these states all going red. That Nebraska, that second district, always pretty competitive, but based on how it's trending, it's going to narrowly go red. Montana, even if it's trending slightly blue, we're still going to see it go red. Oregon, it's trending slightly red actually. If you look at the data, it's basically been slowly, I think, voting for a bit of a higher percentage Republican, but we're still going to see it go blue because it's just too insignificant and slow of a trend. So we're going to see Washington, California go blue. Nevada. Here's an interesting thing about Nevada. I would consider it, along with New Mexico and Colorado, which will also be going blue on this map, an ex-battleground state, because these states in the early 2000s would vote much more Republican, and Republican presidential candidates could actually win here. What we're seeing in the current era, though, since I think about 2008, that sort of marked the point when these became more just Democratic states, and finally we're here in 2020. These are voting for Democrats by about 10 points on the presidential level. We'll probably see that in 2020. You know, George W. Bush, I think, maybe in separate presidential campaigns, I think he lost Colorado in 2000, won it in 2004, lost New Mexico in 2000, won it in 2004. I think he carried Nevada both times. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He did win Nevada at least once. So he's proof that Republicans used to be able to win there, but we're seeing Democrats carry that state on the presidential level by wider and wider margins. Arizona, that would go blue based on the current trends. It's been red for a really long time. It narrowed up significantly in 2016 to, I think, about just a few percentage points. And based on its current trajectory, we're going to see that state go blue. It's been voting progressively more Democrat. And I think one common consensus is that a big part of that is the increased number of Latino voters in that state. They tend to vote Democratic by about a 7-3 ratio, 70% to 30%. Alaska, that is still going to go Republican. There's been some talk of it possibly going blue after a widely sort of talked about poll that showed Donald Trump leading Joe Biden there by a mere 3 percentage points. But based on trends, that it's not really trending blue, I guess. And that poll, here's a way to put it. Nate Silver actually commented that Democrats tend to overperform in Alaska polls leading up to Election Day, but then the Republicans carry it by a wide margin in the actual results. So that's going to go red. But just an interesting comment that came out, especially in light of the poll that showed just a 3-point margin there in Alaska. Hawaii, that goes blue. Georgia, that's going to go blue too. You know, we saw it narrow it down to 5 points in 2016. I think John McCain and Mitt Romney both carried it by wider margins. The governor race, or the gubernatorial race in 2018, Stacey Abrams, she was the Democrat. She lost by just 2 points. So based on its current trajectory, it's definitely going to go blue here in Georgia. South Carolina, we could see a similar situation, but at the current rate, if it's trending blue, that's going to be at least in 2024 if we see that state. go blue. That's probably not going to happen in 2020, so we're going to give that to the Republicans. North Carolina, that state has actually always been competitive for the Democrats. They won it in 2008, so that could go blue. Based on current polls, Joe Biden is leading there, so I'm going to give it to Joe Biden, even though I wouldn't say it's trending blue because it's pretty much been competitive there for a while. And Barack Obama did win it in 2008. Biden being Obama's former running mate, that could help him out in North Carolina. Uh, so yeah, Joe Biden, he'll win in North Carolina. Virginia, that's been trending blue, and it's pretty much already crossed the line from red state to battleground state to blue state. So Virginia, pretty much a blue state at this point. Mississippi, I think we see a similar situation as South Carolina, sort of maybe starting to trend blue, but it's not there yet. Alabama, we're obviously going to give to the Republicans. Arkansas, an infamous poll, or not infamous, just a widely discussed poll, shows Trump leading Joe Biden by a mere 2 points. But just, based on trends, that's probably still going to go Republican. And I think it's really unlikely that that poll is going to be completely accurate to the actual result we see. So I'm going to actually just fill in some of these safer states. Missouri, we also see a close race there. Still probably going to go to the Republicans. Indiana, Democrats are capable of winning here. But we see a 10-point margin there. And based on how it's going, we actually see it becoming more solidly red. This is an instance of it going kind of from a competitive state to more of a Republican state. There were a lot of, traditionally Democratic voters who in 2016 voted for Donald Trump in the presidential race. So that's trending red, I guess you could say. It went from battleground to trending red. Iowa, based on current trends, it's going red. It's almost like a Nevada, New Mexico, and Colorado situation, an ex-battleground state situation. Uh, Based on current trends, it would go red because Donald Trump won it by over 9 percentage points in 2016. To put that into context, Obama won it twice in 2008 and 2012. Not quite sure about the margin. I think it might have tightened between 2008 and 2012. So based on current trends, that would go to the GOP. But it's actually narrowed up a lot in 2020. So I think at the end of the day, Iowa is probably going to go red, but in 2024, at that point, we'll be able to see what the trends are there, and maybe it won't be trending red. Ohio, it's the same actually as Iowa, just a battleground state that voted for Trump by, instead of slightly over 9 points, slightly under 9 points in 2016, whereas Obama won it twice in 2008 and 2012. So that state is officially trending red, big time. Interesting thing though, we see Joe Biden leading in that state, but just based on trends, it would go to the Republicans. Illinois to the Democrats. I'm going to fill in some more of these safe states just as we go. Fill in some of these New England safe states. Vermont, New Hampshire. That will go to the Republicans based on current trends. Donald Trump almost, just barely won it, or he almost won it in 2016. He ended up losing it to Hillary Clinton. But based on the trends, it would go Republican, even though I think Joe Biden has an 8-point lead in the polls there. Maine, I think based on the trends, we would actually see all 4 of those electoral votes go to Donald Trump. Maybe we'd see District 1 go to the Democrats, the rest going to Donald Trump. But that based on the current trends, it would all go GOP, I think. The thing is, Joe Biden has an 11-point lead there, and I actually think Donald Trump is going to lose all of Maine and that 2nd congressional district that he won in 2016. Just my personal take on that. But based on the trends, it's undeniable that that would go Republican based on trends. Same with Pennsylvania and all of these Rust Belt states over here. Minnesota especially. Trump lost Minnesota by a mere 1.52%. That is incredibly narrow of a margin considering Minnesota before that was pretty much a likely Democratic state. I think or Barack Obama won it by pretty significant margins. So based on trends, Donald Trump would win that state probably, Minnesota. Interesting thing about Minnesota though, Joe Biden has a monumental lead of 16 points, 58 to 42%. So that could have just been really not representative of a trend in Minnesota. So Donald Trump will probably actually lose Minnesota big time, but based on the trends, that's the way the state would go. And then, of course, Florida, you can't deny Barack Obama winning it twice and then trending towards Donald Trump. I guess you could say maybe it's trending Democrat or that it's not really trending at all. It's just a consistent battleground state. But, this is about the trends. It went from blue to red, so I will give that to the GOP with Donald Trump. So here you go, guys. The final electoral map for the 2020 election based on the trends. So we see 295 electoral votes blue, 243 electoral votes red. So pretty interesting stuff here. Minnesota flips, New Hampshire, Maine, they flip. A lot of interesting stuff here. And Texas and Georgia, they flip blue. So, oh yeah, Arizona, that flips blue. This is a pretty interesting result we see here. The electoral map based on current trends. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you're into this type of content that I make, these types of electoral map predictions, videos about elections and whatnot, I hope you guys will subscribe. In fact, I think you definitely should subscribe because, trust me, there's going to be more where this came from. And if this is right up your alley, you're going to really enjoy watching my videos. And I hope to see you comment back to my videos as a subscriber. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you for the next video. Bye!